Hi, Karen Jones here, theheartmatters.com, with this month's issue of Ask the Coach for Married Women. And the question this month comes from Vicky. Basically, I'll just paraphrase. She's concerned about how her husband is treating their daughter. He thinks that she's being a little too rough with her, and she notices that her daughter is feeling a little bit more hesitant to be around him. She wants him to stop it. She did mention that she speaks to him about it. I hope not in front of their daughter. We'll talk about that in a sec. Anyway, so I wanted to touch on several things that came up for me when she sent the question in. The first one being that it's really important to understand that there are differences between men and women. Yes, there are. And remember, I always speak in generalities, and of course there are exceptions to everything. So think about how we are naturally as women. We are emotive, we express things, we care deeply for the things that we care about. We can be connected to our emotions. We notice what's happening with those that we love. Deeply, we can notice a lot of things, where if you think about it, men tend to be more single-focused. So if we or they are the focus of attention, then they'll tend to notice more stuff. But for the most part, where we can handle 10, 15 things at the same time, different stages, men, one thing. So what do you do with a man who's not being the way that you wish he were being with your child? First thing is, please don't ever criticize or correct him in front of the children. One of your biggest jobs is to, and it's happening whether you are conscious about it or not, is you're teaching your children how to be as a husband or wife and who to choose as a mate. All that is happening. They're downloading all of this by the way that you are being and the way that you are relating with your mate. Really important is to get the importance, the incredible power that you have over how your man feels about himself. Really, really important. And don't ever underestimate that. Don't ever. How he feels about himself has a lot to do with how you feel about him and how you treat him and how you relate with him. Let's see. So I wanted to, now before we go into the next piece, which is how to actually shift this, you want to be coming from some foundational beliefs, some ways that you want to remind yourself that are true. First, really important, trust that who you chose to marry and have a child with or children with was the right one. Also very important, trust that your child wants what's best for your kid or kids. You may not like his delivery, but he cares. And sometimes women totally underestimate the depth of men's feelings, care, love, concern for their children, because again, they don't express it like we tend to. Also, consider the possibility, as wild as it may seem, that what he's doing is actually for the benefit and will actually enhance who your kid ends up being. I'm not talking about hitting. I'm not a fan. I don't believe in adults hitting children. I don't believe in adults hitting animals. We're way bigger than they are, and what are we teaching them? Realize that the fastest way to bring about change is from a place of acceptance first. If there's judgment, if there's rejection, what does that tend to cause in us? Defensiveness. We're not going to move forward if we're feeling defensive. So here are some steps that I recommend. The first thing is write down all the things that you do appreciate and admire and respect and love about him. And from that, write him a love letter. Now let that percolate for a while. Don't just give him the letter and then bang, hey honey, we're going to talk about this thing that's pissing me off. So first do the love letter, mean it, feel it, give it to him. A few days later, you say, honey, there's something on my mind I want to talk about. Is now a good time? If not, when? When you are talking with him, first acknowledge all the things that are great, all the ways that he's fathering in ways that you love, and then tell him that there's something that's been on your mind you want to talk about that you think might be great if it were adjusted a little bit. Also, you might want to say, I may be too sensitive to this. I may not really see the full picture, but I really want to just talk with you about it because you and I are really aligned on what we want for our kids. I think that you'll be more effective if you shift something a little bit. Now, even if you think it's a dramatic change that needs to happen, help him get there slowly. Don't slam him with, what you're doing is terrible, it's all wrong, and you got to get it right by tomorrow. He's probably going to get completely swamped, overwhelmed, and will not do anything. It's not what you really want here. So assuming he's open to your coaching, just be very gentle, very kind, and help to, ask them, are you open for some partnership? Are you open for creating what might be a next right thing, or don't say right, because that means wrong is the other side of that, but because you're dealing with someone who's very sensitive. And I know that you feel probably your child's at stake, but just be gentle. And then if you do all of this, my guess is that you two are going to end up on the same page, and you'll be able to create what you want, or way more of what you want. Be careful about being too, let's say, dictatorial, right? Because there's your way, there's his way, there's what you create together. And as long as you know that your child's not being harmed, really know that, then work on your partnership with him. And just remember, he loves your child. He is devoted to, wants the best for her, or in the case if you've got more than one, he really, really is doing the best, and he's trying so hard to do what he thinks is best for them. So believe that, line up with him about that, and then create what you want. Until next month, have a great one.